Welcome everybody to my own gameplay. I don't think I've done my own gameplay in quite a while, and I'm really sorry if I look tired. It is currently 12:16 on my birthday today. I'm making you guys a video before I go to the gym. I'm really procrastinating. I'm on like a crazy win streak in solo queue, so I was just grinding out some games. Today, I'm gonna just quickly preempt the video. We're focusing on the Divine Sunderer build on Riven. This build, and I'm gonna explain the build in general. With the new patch, obviously everything being tankier, I've been seeing a lot of one-tricks trying new builds, trying new items, all that kind of thing. I have another video coming on Dzukill, who started playing Gale Force on his Yone, Gale Force BT on his Yone. And I've also seen a Singed player reach rank 5 EUS. So there are two videos I have coming up. So if you guys enjoy that type of content and the educational content I'm going to be talking about today, please leave a like and a subscription. That'll be mean the absolute world. I still can't thank you guys enough for the support lately. Anyway, enough of this stuff. We're into the new Olaf. I'm going to talk about the new Olaf as well. The Riven versus Olaf matchup. I actually think I've played against the new Olaf twice. I actually think he's not as hard as the old Olaf, but I also don't know if it's just because this Olaf's playing the matchup wrong. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, this Olaf starts Q in lane, where I think you want to start W if W is the attack speed steroid shield. Obviously, as Riven, as soon as he shields, just back off. His W is probably the thing that's the worst. And as Olaf, you have to hit Q to win the trade. So as we're going to see here, we have the Olaf with Barrier Ghost, which I think is a really good summoner spell combination. Not as strong in lane, but in those team fights, it's very, very strong. Obviously, Barrier is probably the most effective defensive summoner versus Riven with Ignite. Maybe Exhaust, you could argue. Anyway, let's talk about the Sunderer build. So really quickly, I'm going to explain my laning process here. I'm trying to just sort of match the wave, but not push it too hard, because I don't want to be long lane with Olaf. The way that old Olaf used to beat you is he Qs you down the lane, and he just keeps like perma-slowing you the entire time. So I just try to like take it slowly here. I get hit by a Q, but at the same time I know my Q2s do damage, and he's not level 2 yet. So freezing the wave here is like a really, really good spot. I go to Longsword 3 as well, because I'm going to be taking like some pretty meaty trades. I want all those pots to be able to heal back up, and I know Olaf hurts a lot. So we let the wave crash. It's only level 2, so you can't get a cheater recall, so there's no big deal here. Let's just farm the minions up safely. I only take W just to help me last hit the minions. I don't really need E right here. Anyway, so let's talk about the Sunderer build. So Sunderer was never really played on Riven because of the way that the Sheen proc works. So it only works like every 3 seconds or something like that. Riven obviously can't take full advantage of it. The biggest thing with the Sunderer thing, obviously with the durability patch, we have a lot more armor coming through, a lot more resistances as I hit level 3 here. I think there's an all-in pretty soon, and it's pretty close. So get ready. Either way. So the whole idea behind the Sunderer build is with Riven. Riven has no mixed damage at all. Yeah, this isn't all in here. I didn't even do anything special. Oh, that W and heal was pretty nuts. Obviously flash advantage there gets me the kill. I think he just kind of disrespected my cooldowns. My cooldowns were coming up after all his was used, so it was a pretty easy kill for me. Olaf also dying with the wave coming into him like this is very bad. You want to never do this. Sorry for digressing so much. I'm just going to take the quick reset. We can talk about it on the way back to lane. The Divine Sunderer build, Riven has no true damage, no mixed damage, no on-hit damage. She only does flat AD. So whenever a champion builds armor, if you're a Riven player and you've ever played against a full armor champion, even if you're 3-0, it feels like you're hitting them with a napkin. Like, you are the weakest champion into armor I think that like pretty much exists. Riven and Renekton into armor are very, very bad. So the whole idea behind the Sunderer build is because of the mythic passive, the mythic passive gives you more resistances. So, not more resistances, gives you more resistance cut, so more armor pen, more magic pen. Once you have Black Cleaver with the Divine Sunderer, you actually cut through tanks like butter, and then you go Cyrilda's Grudge after that, or Death Dance, and you have a lot of CDR, a lot of survivability. As we see here, so with the bounce, Olaf's first death actually ends up being even worse for him, because after the bounce and the wave comes back into me, and I ping my jungler to come top, because we know that there's going to be a bounce happening, and Olaf has no summoners. So we can make that gank work like super, super easy. I think it was kind of just like the mismanagement of the wave early, because like Olaf wouldn't have died the second time there if he had just let the wave crash and then come back and then reset, if that makes sense. So again, it just kind of like goes to show that wave management and those kind of like early mistakes can really transpire into game losing mistakes. Obviously I'm 2-0 and Olaf's 0-2, and I don't get plates here. I actually should have reset straight away. I don't even know why I'm going for the plates here. Tower loses resistances at 5 minutes, so taking plates before 5 minutes is like literally impossible. The Divine Sunderer build, once you get Black Cleaver, Death Dance, you're healing up a lot, you're very tanky, because of obviously the statistics that all of those items are kind of like off-tank bruiser items. I don't have a meaningful buy here. I think I'm sitting in like 685 gold, and I'm pretty healthy, and I have 2 pots, and I have a level advantage, so I think I can just stay. I'm looking for I think 150 more gold because I don't even have enough Kindle Gem yet. So I'm just kind of like waiting. The only bad thing about Divine Sunderer with Riven is you can't really buy anything like really high pressure in lane. So you can't go Iron Spike Whip. Obviously the flat AD and the active are really nice with Riven. You can't go Pickaxe because you just go Caulfield Warhammer, Sheen, and Kindle Gem. So the whole kind of idea is like you want to snowball past the point of having to buy components because obviously Riven buying Sheen in lane is not that great. You'd way rather a Pickaxe. So we're trying to get to that Divine Sunderer as cleanly as possible because it's very weak until it's not, if that makes sense. It's very weak until you actually have the completed item. So we just built a slow push here. I ward here because I know that Nocturne's going to be in top side of the map and he's going to be piling up here. This is a point in the lane where I want to protect myself as much as I possibly can because if Nocturne's top, I will just die. I actually think I know that I don't come out of this laning phase cleanly. I think I die a couple of times. This is the entire gameplay, by the way. I don't really think that the Divine Sunderer build does anything crazy, but you can just see me still hurting Olaf, who ends up going like basically full armor. I've been really liking this this build into champions that like get away with going a lot of armor. So I also have been building Stridebreaker a lot more too. Oh yeah, I get 3-man here. Nocturne's like level 6 and I just don't expect it, and then Singed is here. It's just a mess. I didn't expect this. I thought I could fight my way out of it, but Nocturne was level 6 because he 8 waves. Either way, doesn't matter. I've been really experimenting with different mythics because Gore Drinker is bad. Well, not bad. Gore Drinker is actually still really good, I think. Just going to skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, I get the Kindle Gem here. Gore Drinker is still really good into certain comps, but I've actually been playing Stridebreaker and Divine Sunderer a lot more. Stridebreaker I've been playing because with Riven, like you're still really tanky and like really annoying and you do okay damage, but the real damage dealers are like your casters and your ADCs. You want to be enabling your hyper carry. So the way that Riven works, because her kit is so mobile, you can like dash forward and then come and like cast Stridebreaker and then come back and just kind of sit on your team and act as like a disruptor. Stridebreaker is like a 90% slow or like just something insane. I'll check that actually properly after I don't have the game. I'll check it after. The slow is really, really strong on Stridebreaker. I'm pretty sure Nocturne has it pretty soon. I'll scroll over it. This isn't even the replay. Either way, Stridebreaker is crazy. You can use it as a kite tool as well as a stick tool. So if you're like kind of in a brush and then you cast, you Q juggle onto Q3 and then you cast Stridebreaker, the enemy champion literally can't get away from you. That coupled with Cerilda is very, very strong. I've been really liking Stridebreaker specifically into Jax because the way that Gore Drinker is not good into Jax. The way that Jax's trade pattern and when he kills Riven works is, I forgot to even mention, this game is also like GM. So Hooper is like rank 5, my ADC, and this Olaf is like 600, I don't know, he's GM. So this is a pretty high game. So these kind of builds definitely work if I can like bust them out in these kind of games. You know what I mean? Like it's not just smurfing on like some bronze kids or something like that. I've been digressing so much. There's just so much I have to say. So when Jax jumps on you with like EQ, you just cast Stridebreaker and then he can't stun you because you're out of the range. He's been slowed. You're out of the range by the time the E hits. So even when Jax ults, you can just Stridebreaker and then run away, wait for his ult to come back, go out, and then you just re-engage on him. It's also very, very strong into Camille as well. So when Camille E's on you and then she is trying to Q2 you, you just Stridebreaker, wait for her passive shield to run out and wait for Q2 to run out, and then she does no more damage for like another 2 or 3 seconds, and you can re-engage on her, and that's how you win the trade really hard. Or you can go Sunderer or Gore Drinker into Camille, and then you go Cerilda's, never go Death Dance into Camille, obviously she does true damage. You want to be going Cerilda's Grudge into Camille second, or Stridebreaker, because you're able to kite her out a lot more. I kind of like took this weird little trade here to bait the Olaf because I saw like Wukong was pinging on his way when he was basing just there. So I think it's a really fun patch in the way that like every game I'm entering it with like a different perspective on like what items I should build. I'm not just going like Gore Drinker, Death Dance, Black Cleaver every game. I'm actually really, really enjoying it. I know Nocturne's bot because we just saw him on that pink ward there, so I'm pretty safe to just continue on with my taking the plates here, get a little bit more of an advantage. Pretty sure I even have Divine Sunderer here. So another big tip as well, when you're in this situation, don't waste time just running back into the brush. You know Olaf's not back yet. Just prioritize your buy timer. Just take it quickly. Like if I go back into the brush, I'm just wasting time, you know what I mean? I want to touch on one other thing that I really don't like. One thing that I just don't like about Divine Sunderer is, and I have a little bit of testing to do, but one thing I don't like is that you have no like in-lane sustain. So like when you go farm camps and all that kind of thing, you just eventually get lower and lower HP because you don't have Gore Drinker, which obviously gives Omnivamp. So that's one thing that I am really missing. I am going to try going Domination on Riven because I've heard that I think its Ingenious Hunter gives you more procs of Divine Sunderer, which sounds insane because Riven is such a rotational champion, so she'll have a lot of Sheen procs if it's up in time, because Divine Sunderer obviously has a little bit of a cooldown. Olaf has Tabby here. I'll see if there's any kind. I don't think I fight him for like a fair while. But anyway. So as you can see there, like it does pretty meaty damage. Like that was half HP. And Riven against a champion with Tabby is like, if anyone's ever played Riven with Tabby, it's just like impossible. Oh yeah, he's got ult. This is kind of a bit of a bronze ult, I'm not gonna lie, but I'll trade ult for ult, doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot he actually has ult there, but anyways. Don't get the kill, but you just saw that amount of damage that the Sheen proc does. It's still pretty impactful. Not the worst thing that we trade ult for ult here, because Olaf knows that I can just dive in now, so we do get the first tower, which is pretty big for me. 610 gold over the way of me. Obviously, Riven's a very, very strong champion ahead. Into this team as well, they don't have like a lot of disables, so like obviously Olaf doesn't have any stuns. Nocturne doesn't, well, he has a fear, but like he's diving, so you probably just collapse back onto him. Singed is annoying, he just flings you, but like as far as their stuns go, there's not a whole ton of lockdown, so I'm very strong into this, and a lot of their damage is AD. So if Singed runs over me, he's not going to 100 Omi, I'm not going to get like one shot like a Syndra or something like that, so I don't really have to buy MR just yet. I'm pretty happy just going Tabby because obviously all of their champions, so Nocturne, Olaf, Ezreal, all do AD, well, Ezreal does mix, but AD damage for the most part. So we're pretty happy just going the Tabby here. You do end up getting like a lot of haste as well. I do think that Lucidity Boots is better here. So in the thumbnail, I have Lucidity Boots. I just saw kind of like a weird fight happen here, so I'm just coming to help my team out, but I probably should be top taking this wave, stopping Olaf from pushing. I do like Lucidity Boots. Do I kill this guy? No, I think he survived, right? Yeah, he does. Unlucky. I do think I like Lucidity Boots in this more because with the... Oh, I think I die here, actually. This is... I actually remember what happened here. Something weird happened with my mouse or my keyboard. I can't remember. Something weird happened. And I just, like, couldn't cast spells. It was really weird. I was like, yeah, and then my keyboard starts... Yeah, I don't know. Something happened. Anyway, what was I saying? Divine Sunderer... Yeah, Lucidity Boots. So because you don't have a mythic passive with Gore Drinker... So Gore Drinker's mythic passive is that you get more ability haste on your items. Riven feels like she can miss a little bit of ability haste early, so I have been really liking going CDR boots with this build more so, but Tabby this game was too valuable not to build, so that's why we're going here. I just really have to frontline for my back, like Kai'Sa Nautilus, I just have to backline. I'm going to go over this play really quickly here. So I actually know, like I see my team top, I know if Olaf aggresses on me here, Nocturne is also top, and I kind of just like bait them to walk into my my Talia Wukong. It's a pretty free couple of kills. That's literally the only reason I hit the ward is because I was like, if I can bait Nocturne here, that everyone's just going to die and we can take something off it. Didn't even have to ult. Keep pushing top here. Those like sort of like mind processes, if you kind of like know that you win the fight, can definitely like put you ahead and really like put you in a favorable and winning position of the game. I recently got coaching off Alois, as you guys know, and I literally went from 144 LP to 400 LP right now. I went from like, I think I was like basically even wins and losses, and now I'm like 10 more wins than I was losses. Like I've been playing really, really well, and my games have been getting harder because I was obviously like Diamond Master average games, and now I'm in like high GM games, and I'm still really performing. So Alois really like changed my perspective on the game. I will actually make a separate video about that just as a whole. Because I think that there's some valuable advice, but I don't think it's kind of like appropriate for this video. Anyways, we're looking for the Black Cleaver now. So one thing that you have to go into this build is Black Cleaver second, because as I said, you're kind of missing the haste, and the mythic passive works better with Black Cleaver than it does Death Dance, because Death Dance obviously doesn't give any shred. So we do go Black Cleaver second, it just kind of makes sense. A very, very good item on Riven nonetheless. So it doesn't really matter. We're very happy to go Black Cleaver, but you go Death Dance third. Obviously, offsetting your Death Dance by a little bit kind of is pretty rough, but I just think you're kind of going to be playing Stridebreaker, Gore Drinker more into like squishy comps. Champions that don't have like a lot of dashes. I've been playing it like if I have to act as a bit of a more of a reliable frontline, and I'm not too worried about actually doing my damage myself. But kind of honestly, any mythic works on Riven at the moment. I even think there's some games where you'd be able to go Eclipse. If you're into like a really squishy comp, Riven with Eclipse and CDR boots is actually really, really nice. Prowler's Claw would even work in some situations, but I think Divine Sunderer, Stridebreaker, and Gore Drinker are probably the three best ones. I am very conscious of the top lane here. I have just been floating around mid waiting for a fight to break out because of Nocturne. This Nocturne's been ulting off CD and really delayed my own farming. 131 CS at 17 minutes is not too bad, but at the moment I've really been aiming for like the 8.5 plus CS mark. I'm kind of hesitant to push up here. I don't know where Olaf is. He could literally be in that brush there, and I also don't know where Nocturne is, so I'm just kind of like being a little bit more hesitant. Dying on side like that can really break the momentum of your team. Like if I die here, then Nocturne and Olaf probably get tier 2, and my whole team's momentum on the map just gets disrupted just because of my one death. So it's very important that I don't do stupid things like that. I'm also pretty happy to just walk up bot here. Like it's a bit weird that I was so apprehensive, but now I'm okay with it because I see Talia's bot also. And I'm not too scared of Nocturne either. Like I have my Tabby, my Divine Sunderer, my Tabby, and Nocturne doesn't have Red Smite, so I probably just beat him in a 1v1 anyway. I'm definitely pretty tanky here. This is like a little bit of a weird fight. I think someone ends up getting picked and then we all kind of just like look like we're gonna die. Not really a good opportunity for me to go in here. Obviously no one's really like low HP, and Kai'Sa walks into everybody there because it's not a ward in the brush. So we do give up a pretty big shutdown there, and I think Kai'Sa has to end up using her sums also. So pretty big death there, like that's almost game turning, but we do still have the soul condition to play for. And I'm only going to keep getting stronger as well. Black Cleaver. Currently have the most CS, more CS than the entire enemy team except for Ezreal, who's got 2 up on me. The Talia and the Kai'Sa are both very strong on my team though as well. Hooper is a very, very good ADC. I think he's going to be a pro prospect for the next split coming up. Level 12 at the moment, probably could be a little bit higher considering how hard I won lane, but I think Olaf's won a few skirmishes with his team, so he's obviously back in the game a little bit. Going the Trinity Force build. I also think the Stridebreaker tech could be pretty good with Olaf as well. So Olaf, a lot of Olaf's damage now comes from his E and his Q shredding your armor, because his Q shreds armor now, if anyone didn't know. So if you have Stridebreaker, you literally like run up to enemy champion and you press Stridebreaker, and then like it'll basically enable you to 100% hit your Q. And then from there, you're going to just like shred them to death. If you miss Q on Olaf, you actually don't do too much damage. And I also don't think Olaf's W is too... I don't know. I haven't really seen an Olaf that's had like a good enabled comp yet. I can't really specify how good I think Olaf is. I didn't even include him in the tier list because I didn't have enough kind of like data, I guess. The sample size is too small. People have also been saying... Oh, I played against the new Swain top as well today. I actually entered lane really hard. I accidentally got stuck by his grab and my Q went the wrong way and I got sucked under the tower. And I kind of just auto lost lane there because I was against a challenger player, but... I ended up coming back because I just like really focused on my farm, muted my whole team because I died twice. I got dove after that, and I went 10 CS per minute, and then as soon as I had DD more, I pretty much couldn't die to him. Got anti-heal as well. I don't really think Riven loses to drain tanks or like drain mages like Swain. Once, because her shield's just up so much, so it just mitigates so much. Oh, one thing I want to quickly touch on, and I mentally noted this when I was playing. I wanted to quickly just specify and show you exactly like this little bit here. How I don't show bot, so you can see I'm going to the wave. I immediately don't want to go into the vision of the enemy wave, because if the whole enemy team, as they're fighting, I can't show you because it's not the actual replay, but the whole enemy team right now is at Baron, and they're kind of posturing on my team. So if I show on the red wave, then the enemy team is just going to engage on my own team. So I immediately start heading top because I can't even push the wave because it's just a signal that the enemy team can engage. They have Singed, they have Nocturne ulti, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, holy shit, this is going to lose us the game. And well, luckily I didn't show, but I think my team sort of smurfs it a bit. This Wukong's obviously really ahead. I don't really think I get to do too much in this fight. Yeah, anyway, clean up the Singed, not too bad. Probably didn't really have to use both Flash and Ignite. If I had have queued kind of like more across, it would have been better. Anyway, as you can see, the enemy team is still kind of like in it, but this build doesn't, like, it's not really showing off how good it is now. If it was a 1v1 versus the Olaf, like, if you look at the Olaf's items versus my items, in a 1v1, Olaf would probably win if I had Gore Drinker, but I feel like I would win if I had Sunderer, because he has no anti-heal. But Olaf has like that crazy consistent DPS. He also does true damage with his E, so I think he still does anyway. So going like a more armor item kind of like loses a fair bit of its value. So the fact that I don't have Death Dance yet is kind of not too bad. Going Death Dance next though, because I need to be able to frontline for my Talia and also my Kai'Sa. Talia is obviously really, really good at the moment, so I have a lot to play around here. Something that you should kind of figure out as well, if you guys are kind of like a top laner and you're sort of struggling and trying to figure out your identity as a top laner, you need to understand how your comp functions in games. So I'm playing Riven. I can't just dive and like 1v5. Like my whole role is, and the higher elo you get, you understand like how your champion falls into its role more specifically, but my whole role is to be a disruptor this game. So I'm purely trying to peel for my Kai'Sa, for my Talia, and just kind of like make space for my team. One of the biggest things that Riven doesn't really do anymore, like she used to be basically an assassin and just deal a heap of damage, but nowadays you have to play definitely more conservatively and just look to disrupt the enemy team. You can't really dive. You're kind of just looking for like a 2, 3, 4 man like knock up into W. So here we have Soul Point, so we threaten Dragon. I'm kind of like looking for a flank here. They have the Scuttle Crab, so we decide not to take the fight, and they're also postured way better for us. So my team immediately pings Baron, because they're going to look to trade Dragon for Baron. I don't walk through blind vision, but the enemy team kind of knows what we're on about. But one thing that happens here is they start to split. So you see Ezreal and Olaf are still on the Dragon, whereas I have a good pinch on the Singed and the Zillion and the Nocturne. Cut Ezreal off from the fight here, and then we basically get Zillion's ult for free. I don't win slash here and to kill the Zillion. I win slash to execute the Singed, because Singed is the biggest part. Now that Singed is dead, I basically can't die because I have Tabby and Chain Vest. I literally will never die to their team. So taking Singed out of it is probably the biggest thing. This is pretty flippy actually in hindsight. Like when we were doing this, it felt like a good opportunity. But in retrospect, this is actually like a pretty flippy fight because they have a lot of poke with Ezreal, so he can hit us over the wall. And we did know Nocturne did have flash up. Zillion hits a sick smite, sick bomb too, and then all of a sudden Native Jungler hits their smite and he still dies. Pick up the Nocturne, and Nocturne's basically going full tank at this stage because him diving into Nautilus Talia is pretty much suicide, so he wants to be able to go. He needs to be tanky, really. He can't go damage at all because he would just like get eaten by Talia's E. As you can see, Ezreal's doing no damage to me, even though he's like 2.5. Basically, I have the same items. I'm sitting on a fair bit of gold here. I think I was like 150 off Death Dance. This is kind of like pretty bad for my tempo. So this is one thing as well. If I was playing Gore Drinker here, I'd be like full HP, and I'm forced to stay in the game because my tempo is off. I can't base for no Death Dance because it's such a big component here. I cast my blue trinket up just in case Olaf was posturing to like run me down. Me dying here would be really bad. It would offset our Baron tempo. So I'm just looking to push aside. If I was Gore Drinker here, I'd be able to stay on the map because I'd just be able to heal up off the wave. But Divine Sunderer is kind of like putting me in a weird spot. I continue to push because I know my team is topside jungle, so I'm pretty happy to just keep going. Obviously, I'll be protected, and like my Talia can just ult if someone ults me. Like I'm not too scared. So we push this in here, and then we just look for the first Baron reset. Team used their tempo pretty well. I think we got tier 2 mid, and then we also just look to get tier 2 top. I don't need to be hitting the tower. I do no DPS. Let's just base, get the Death Dance, get back on the map. Continue up. I have to wait 25 gold. I remember this game was earlier today. So I have my 3 core items now. I don't think I end up doing too much crazy. I think I just like picked up a couple of kills, and I was just like more so in the right place at the right time. As you can see, I'm like really tanky though. I just have to stand in front of my Talia, so we'll see if I actually do a decent bit of team fighting here. So all I have to do is just like, I don't dive, I just stand in front of my Talia here because she's the one that's going to be hitting. Nocturne will die, but from here we can kind of like re-engage. And my Death Dance will heal me up too from here. Yeah, I'm like back to half HP basically. So as you see, like if I had like dove to go 2 or 3 man there, I probably would have just gotten eaten by the Ezreal. So I just sit on the Talia and like kind of make them have to think about like twice about diving. We look to just take objectives because obviously you can just win the game by taking objectives. You don't have to kill the enemy champions all the time. This is a bit of a bad play from us. We do overextend. Singed re-engages onto the Nautilus. I'm still pretty tanky. I don't think I die for like ages here, but I do misplay. I'm kind of like half torn between whether or not I should just base or whether I should actually try and fight this. That's why I die there. I could have easily just like flashed over the wall and ran away, but I was kind of like in 2 minds about what to do. Giving up a pretty big shutdown. Tragically, we do get Soul, which is pretty big into our team. Obviously, having the movement speed against the Singed is really, really strong. Singed is probably our main problem at the moment. He's their only AP damage, and he's just being a pest with... Ezreal's still really hurting. Being a pest with his Riley Scepter, just running at my whole team. Just keeping the lanes pressured, we obviously have... the middle inhib is an option, so if the whole enemy team has to go bot here to defend, I can actually just take the mid inhib for free. I start to kind of like rotate around because my team's off the map, so I'm just going to go and farm and wait for my team to look to do things, but you can't go and take waves just yet because I'm not syncing it with our pressure. Let's take Scuttle, head top. I know that there's a bunch top here. I think Nocturne tries to ult me here, but I'm fine. I was like, I'm not going to ever die to this. There's just no way. And then I think I try to fight Olaf. So Olaf is basically like itemized to be anti-me, but you can still see that I'm like kind of like half hurting him. Probably more so for my Thornmail. In normal situations with that much armor, Olaf would probably just destroy me. I think I just end up running here. This is like a kind of a lost fight. Yeah. So my team gets wiped. This is actually pretty bad because Baron's up, obviously. But my Kai'Sa's really, really ahead. So right here, I'm pretty happy to sack myself for my Kai'Sa to succeed. Kai'Sa's pinging me here. I think Hooper kind of misplays this a little bit. As you can see, he's definitely like a really good player with his high pressure. I wish he had stood more near me because I hit like a good amount of knockups and stuns, but Kai'Sa really backed off there. But it's okay, he ends up cleaning up the fight really nicely anyways. As we see, basically everybody dies. Sorry, I kind of scuffed the replay, and I think that's all. Yeah. Nice. We get the Baron. There is like a bit of another weird fight here though, because I think I respawn and we come back. The enemy team is back up in time to contest the Baron. I skip forward a little bit. So Kai'Sa dies because Singed just runs at her. We get Baron. So he kills Zillion here. He's obviously casted ult on someone in the pit. And yeah, Riven is just going to kind of like eat these sort of fights where no one's really focusing her. So take out the Olaf. My team's going to kill him for sure. I just continue to... I saw Ezreal E in my peripheral vision there, so I decided to just keep chasing. Like as soon as I knew... So I see Ezreal E here, just there. I see Ezreal E when I was fighting the Olaf, so I knew I could just jump back onto him there. Allows my team to kind of like gap close back onto the Ezreal as well. And that's pretty much GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I didn't really do anything crazy. It honestly wasn't the best showcase of the build. Like there was nothing that I did on the build that I couldn't do on Goredrinker. But I also wouldn't have succeeded as heavily in fights if I had Goredrinker. And I wouldn't have been able to contest the Olaf side either. So this build definitely is good and can work. As I said before, this is like a Challenger GM game. So if you guys want to try this out, let me know what you think. Obviously just build it into like tanks and things that you can't really like win with Goredrinker. Give it a go, let me know what you think. I also want you guys, I implore you guys to try Stridebreaker. Stridebreaker is a really, really fun item. We'll just watch the last little team fight here because I hit a kind of nice little disruption win slash. Cyrilda's next, always by the way. I really, really like Cyrilda's on Riven. Not as strong with Goredrinker. Talia getting shit on by Singed. Nautilus, and I just jump the wall here. And then I flash win slash. Takes out the Nocturne, but... yeah, pretty nice little like game winning because that like just basically solidified the game because their whole team has to end up just staying by. And as my Death Dance heals me up to basically full. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed that gameplay, I'm probably going to keep building some more, doing some more of my own gameplays because I have a few more ones that I want to do like on Stridebreaker and stuff. The Dzukill one and also the Kuba Singed one is coming very, very soon. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave a like and a subscription. I love you all very much and you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.